name is Chris Zaremba and I'm 56 years old. I'd like to tell you something about my fitness journey that's kept me occupied for the past 5 or 6 years. About 5 or 6 years ago, when I was about 50, I was very unfit and overweight. But since then, I've turned my life around totally, become very much addicted to fitness, and now it's my job in life to pass this message on to as many other people as I can. So I'm keen to pass on the message of fitness in the hope that other people of about my age will get the same benefits from fitness that I've had. So I guess the first question is, how did I get into fitness and why? The why is probably the easiest. When I turned 50, as I said before, I was very overweight, pretty unfit, and I went to the doctor to get my aviation medical renewed. I have a hobby of flying small planes, and you have to have a medical for this, and the doctor looked at my various fitness measurements and decided that I was very, very borderline in terms of having my aviation medical renewed. So my blood pressure was too high, my lousy cholesterol, that's the LDL cholesterol, was too high, and my aerobic capacity was all too low. So what I did from that stage was follow the doctor's advice and get a bit fitter. The doctor told me to get a bit fitter. I suddenly discovered I enjoyed getting a bit fitter, and I got a bit more fit and a bit more fit, and now it's pretty much the main thing I do in my life is fitness for myself and advising others. I got fitter in a couple of stages. The first thing I did was really to lose weight. And I did this through what is I now know to be cardiovascular exercise, which is running and on the cross train in the gym. And I did that for about 2 or 3 years, and that was my main form of exercise. At the same time, I also started watching what I was eating much better. I didn't actually know much at that stage about protein, carbohydrates and so on, but I knew I had to eat better. And for those first 2 or 3 years, I did well. I lost weight, probably lost about 2 or 3 stone, came down from around 17.5 stone to about 14.5, maybe 14 stone. Having lost the weight, I then decided that probably a good thing to do would be to put some muscle on. And about that time, I met a guy who was very instrumental in forming my fitness life, a chap called Rob Riches.
My name is Rob Riches. I'm a natural drug-free fitness competitor. Competed over the past 8 years in over 20 competitions now. And I've also been fortunate enough to have appeared on magazine covers, in features, and also won a few competitions along the way. I first met Chris early 2008 here in Southern California. Funny story, he went to have a workout at a very famous gym, Gold's Gym in Venice, and it was there that he was told about me.
I hadn't really handled a dumbbell or a barbell or even a resistance machine of any sort until that day that I met Rob in Los Angeles.
I thought, especially at his age, he was then early 50s, it might be quite difficult for somebody to kind of latch on and start putting a weight training routine into their kind of weekly schedule. But Chris actually picked it up really quickly. He took on board, practically everything I told him. And he went back to England, followed the entire routine, the eating, the training. And when I saw Chris, I think a year later when I came back to visit family in England, Chris had completely transformed his body.
Then we moved on from that for the next day and did some work on the back. And that day, Rob was meant to be doing some video work. His cameraman didn't turn up, so he asked me to stand in as his cameraman for that day. So rather than the 1 hour session with him, we had a 3 hour session together, then went to lunch, and from that point onwards became pretty firm friends. Rob's now been my personal trainer since that time, although I've added personal trainers from the UK to that mix as well. And Rob's guided me for the years since then, right up until today.
I could tell when I first met Chris, and we had that very first training session, that he asked a lot of questions, and he was asking all the right questions too, right down to what foods he should be eating after training, how often he should be training, what kind of weights, the method behind the weight training. He was asking me everything I really did know. So that gave me a sign that he really did want to change his body. And even though he was carrying a little bit of extra body fat at that time, he had never lifted a weight before, and he was in his 50s, I could tell that Chris was serious about this, and with the information I was giving him, the questions he was asking, Chris could really go on and make a difference in his, not just his appearance, but his health as well.
Rob told me that if I followed his advice for the next few years, a number of things would happen to me. First thing he said was I would get a lot fitter, obviously. The second thing would be that I'd enjoy myself, I'd have a great time. Thirdly, I would meet some very nice people. And fourthly, if I was a little bit lucky, I might just get a bit famous. Well, I have to say all 4 of those things have come true. I have got a lot fitter, and I've had a great time doing it. I've met some really nice people in the fitness game, And I think I have got a little bit famous as well. I've got some books and some magazines that I write for, and I've got 1 or 2 YouTube videos out there as well. And I followed Rob's advice for about 4 years, taking advice from other people as well. A fairly structured routine that I follow, comprising cardio and weight training. And now, having got myself, I think, to a reasonable level of fitness, two other things have happened. First is I've decided to help as many other people as I can. So to do that, I've set up a company called Fitness Over 50 Limited, where I want to show ways to help other 50-year-old pluses about how to get fit as I have. So anything I've learned about fitness, I want to pass on to others. My real target area, if you like, are those people who are now the same as I was 5 or 6 years ago. People who perhaps think it's a little bit too late in their life to get fit and that time has passed them by. And I want to show to them that it's not true. They can do that. And the other thing that happened is I've taken my own fitness to one stage further, and last year I won the Fitness Model British Championships for the over 50s in a contest organised by the Miami Pro organisation. So at this moment I am the British champion fitness model for the over 50s range from the Miami Pro, and in 2 days' time I'm going on stage for the World Championships. Very nervous, very scared, but very optimistic, and I hope I'll do well. And in 3 days' time, I might be a world champion as well as a British champion.
Over the years, Chris has always shown an interest in fitness, and he's spoken about kind of launching his own website and helping others within his demographic reach the health status that he's enjoying now. So when Chris launched fitnessover50.co.uk last year, I was really happy for him. He's actually taken on board everything that he learned from a complete beginner. He's built it up, and he's now got a website and just a business around that whole ethos, that fitness mentality, to be able to help others, whether they're 20, 30, 40, 50 or older, make a few changes in their lifestyle, the way they eat, the exercise that they do, and really go on and, again, change their physique, better their life, and just improve their overall quality of life. What's funny is that every time I see Chris, he always says there's 2 favorite people in his life, and I'm number 2, which I'm happy about, because number 1 is his wife, Jenny, who's been really supportive since he met her. One thing I have to say about Chris is he definitely is committed. He's so enthusiastic, literally about everything, whether he's getting ready for a competition himself. At 55, I think, he got on the cover of a magazine. Guys half his age, in half as good a shape, struggle to even make those connections. So for Chris to win competitions, get on the cover of magazines, and also have his own feature each month in a well-known fitness magazine, it's testament just to show how far you can take this whole fitness lifestyle at any age.
Hi, I'm Russell Lee, the owner of Real Health and Fitness, and we are here at the Fitness Room in Pinewood Studios, where I've been training Chris for the last 18 months. This is where we've been doing all our training and pretty much most of our consultations in the coffee shop next door, getting him ready for the Miami Pro contest on Sunday. Because of Chris's knowledge, Chris can quite easily train himself, but when coming up to competition like the Miami Pro, he does need maybe just that little bit of not necessarily guidance, but just somebody there just to help push him for support more than anything. I helped Chris previously with last year's UK Miami Pro Championships, which he won in his category. It's awe-inspiring, isn't it? To think that Chris, started or came into fitness, kind of a different route to everybody else. He had, sort of a minor, sort of not health scare, but he really had to look after himself. And in 6 years, the transformation is just unbelievable. And it just shows what can be done. So if there's anybody out there who's thinking of going to the gym, who, is thinking, it's not for me, I can't change now. It's, proof is in the pudding.
And that's exactly what I say, is I am by no means the fittest 56-year-old on the planet or in the country or even in the town where we live. But I am quite unusual, I guess, that I've made my transformation into fitness from having been a total slob 5 or 6 years ago. So that change is what's perhaps remarkable about me, if there is anything remarkable. Not the fact that I'm fit, because there are lots of other guys my age who are much fitter, but they've been fit all their lives. For me, it's the fact that I've made that change in a short period of time, and that's how I can hope influence other people who are in the same position now that I was about 5 or 6 years ago.
So everybody can do it. It's not something that is unachievable by any means.
Good morning. It's a sunny morning here in St Albans. It's April the 7th, and I'm here for the Miami Pro World Fitness Model Championships, where I'm taking part in the fitness model and muscle model categories, both for the over 50s. The reason I'm doing this is that my good friend Rob Richards said to me a couple of years ago that Chris, you should get into fitness modelling, and I said no chance, I don't fancy getting on stage. Rob said to me, you will one day, and you know, he's dead right. I'm here and I hope to do well in both of these competitions today. Well, here I am backstage at the arena in St Albans, waiting for my turn to go on stage with the other over 50s. I'm due on in about 1 hour's time, so 1 hour to do some preparation, some final pumping up, and see if I can do the business.